We are live on YouTube, Rumble, X. Going to be live on Instagram shortly. I'm experimenting with that again. I know Instagram, you only get 1 hour, so we will not probably do the full show on Instagram. We're also on Rockfin live as well. All right, we're live across all the platforms. There's so many platforms. This is the Propaganda Report, joined today by Zach Varnell, who helped me film some fun stuff this weekend that we're going to talk about. So let's go ahead and dive in. Antifa and black dudes square off in Atlanta about Trump. This is Propaganda Report. I'm Brad Binkley, again joined by Zach Varnell of Liberty Libations. Zach, we went to this Trump rally on Saturday, and it was one of the craziest things that I had ever experienced. We were outside, and we both been to the inside to see Trump speak in D.C. This time we were outside in Fulton County, Georgia, outside of Georgia State, near where Turner Field used to be. What is your first reaction to just the whole afternoon?
Well, it was fun. I had a good time, but when we first got there, I think we both spent the first hour or two thinking it was just a bust and nothing was going to happen. We couldn't find anybody good to interview, but after a while, it just got crazier and crazier. And I thought, that was a
really
anomaly to the Libertarian Convention. I was like, it's just crazy there because there's libertarians and they're drinking. But I think the chaos just follows Trump because it was insane by the end of it.
Yeah, it was really wild. And that experience from Saturday combined with going to the Bitcoin conference a couple of weeks ago and seeing how, even if they don't always like to say it, you can tell how excited Bitcoiners are for Trump and the enthusiasm around his speech there. And then even up in DC with the Libertarian Convention when Trump spoke, even though there was a lot of hostility in the room, the energy was there. And these experiences to me tell me that, yes, the media is going to try and fabricate this plausibility that Kamala could win so that they can attempt to steal it if that is what they want to do. But anybody who's spent any time out in the real world is not going to buy it, I think. And regardless of what you think of Trump, people like Trump, people hate Trump, the excitement and the energy is there, and it is sustainable, in my opinion. It's been sustainable. When was the Libertarian Convention? It was in May?
Yeah, I think so.
It was in May, and we're in August now. That's a good chunk of the year that I've been around these events, covering them. You've been at 2 of these events now, and there's been no fall off in the energy and the excitement for him. It's only increased, in my opinion, to what we saw this past Saturday. And what was interesting to me about him doing this at Georgia State is Kamala Harris, a couple days earlier, I think Tuesday, 4 days earlier, last week, she spoke at the same place, Georgia State University, the convocation center over there, right by where Turner Field used to be. They turned that into Georgia State's football field, but it's Fulton County, Georgia. Fulton County, Georgia is where District Attorney Fani Willis indicted Trump, the Baconator eater, District Attorney Fani Willis, indicted him on the charges related to trying to steal the election. It's the worst indictment you've ever seen. It's empty. It's where there are murals on the side of dilapidated buildings of Stacey Abrams in Fulton County. very, very large dilapidated buildings. Murals of Stacey Abrams near where my sister lives. I drove by it. Yeah. I'm like, what? You have to have a team of 8,000 people to even go up that high and that wide to paint this mural of Stacey Abrams on this building. You're risking your life.
There's a lot of stuff like that in Atlanta. I was around Sweet Auburn Curb Market, and it's like a little propaganda walk. Just really everywhere. It's something about Democrats or Stacey Abrams or whatever.
Absolutely, dude. So this is not Trump territory. And the fact that I don't know everything. Look, I'm in everything as a PSYOP person. I totally am. But just from a perception, from the public perception, and from if you are giving it, if you're looking at it and say, I'm going to take it as it is and say, why would this candidate choose the same venue to do a speech as this opposing candidate when this opposing candidate is black, is Democrat, is everything Fulton County has ever been? I mean, Fulton County is, I've lived in Fulton County. Not a lot of Republicans in Fulton County. Why would they pick the same venue? I mean, you can't control the audience. Well, at least if you're Trump, you don't. Kamala controls the audience. See, Kamala, for her rally, they talked about all the people that were there and how so many more people than any event since she started, which was a week before. I thought that was a great headline. The biggest event since, it was like 7 days.
I saw another one like that today. They're like, I forgot the guy's first name, but like the Walls. Is it Tim Walls that is the VP pick now?
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Tim Walls does first rally since being chosen. I'm like, that was 5 minutes
15 minutes ago.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we are going to play you guys some clips of Antifa, of them being confronted with these black guys. I mean, it got crazy, but I just want to kind of like give some context of what my thinking is here. With this is Trump went in there, or his team, and he went in there the same way he went into that black journalist event last week, which was the story last week. And it seemed a bit hostile, in my opinion, because of that first journalist who didn't ask questions. She just leveled accusations. And I don't, you can dislike Trump, and I think you can still recognize that. Again, I find myself qualifying. I don't vote for presidential candidates. I don't do it because it's just, I always feel I'm being deceived. So I feel that it's best if I stay out of it. I'm a get out the don't vote guy. But I try and look at this the way that they play this story out to us. And Trump goes in there in a part of town that you would think would be completely hostile towards him. And we showed up there, and what we saw lines and lines of people. That was the story after Kamala's event, after Kamala's controlled event. You could only go to Kamala's event if you were in a Democrat party in one of the counties in Georgia. You got the email or you got the invite. It was a controlled audience.
And or if you're a homeless guy, they rounded up and gave a sandwich.
Totally. They round up homeless people. They put them on the overpass. So they hold up signs. So it makes it look like there's people waiting to see Kamala. But people can't be waiting to see Kamala because they did not release the name of the venue and the address until the day of. I tried to find it. They just said that there's going to be a rally with Megan Thee Stallion. And then
even on the radio, I was in the car that day driving home from South Carolina, listening to WSB. And they were just like, and Kamala's going to be in town. No indication why, or what she's doing, if you can participate, just she's going to be here. I guess that's all the information they gave out. So
I commented on the AJC's post. I said, where is it happening? I commented on all these other posts. I searched. I signed up for a bunch of these activist lists to try and get information like this. I couldn't even get it from them. I found a link to try and get the information and try and get a ticket to Kamala's. I never got a reply. I tried pretty hard to find this information, and I'm not the greatest in the world at finding information, but I'm pretty good at it. And it took me scrolling through Megan Thee Stallion's Instagram page at like midnight the night before, when I finally found somebody that said it's at Georgia State. Mm-hmm. And then 8 other people said, don't stop saying that. You're not supposed to tell people underneath it. And I was just, what I did was I opened up a bunch of her comments and I did a find search. And I just started typing location and where and stuff like that until it finally showed up. And then the next day, I didn't know if it was a Georgia State football field or where exactly. And the convocation center was confirmed the next day. So there's no way this was a spontaneous audience. It was controlled, just like they controlled everything that Joe Biden does. Joe Biden stood on the front line with the union workers. No, he didn't. He stood on the front line with one union worker and a bunch of staffers in T-shirts with the cameras zoomed in closely because you can see other camera angles where it's just an empty space.
And that was like a week after he had squashed a railroad workers union protest, or not strike, like just
Right.
squash that. But don't pay attention. I'll be, standing there doing a photo op next
He's the
week. So
the first president to stand on the picket line. What a crock. And so say whatever you will about Trump, we know firsthand that his events are not controlled when it comes to who they allow in, because we've been allowed in and around them.
yeah,
And clearly some of the people we talk to that you're going to see in clips, some of it is very funny and other of it is crazy, are people who are not selected by email and carefully chosen. They made people aware of this rally a week in advance, or not a week in advance, but actually about a week in advance. And so people came, protesters came, and people were lined up around Old Turner Field. You couldn't walk. Me and Zach were walking in the middle of the road because the sidewalks were packed full. There were merchandise tables everywhere. You go to the Braves game back in the day, and you got a bunch of knockoff merchandise being sold every 5 feet. It was the same way, except for Trump gear. There was one guy screen printing T-shirts just on the go. I mean, all kind of different variations of Trump merchandise. We had the Trump cutouts. You had the tall cutouts you could get if you wanted one. You had the tiny little Trump and Melania cutouts. It was, you had the hats. You had a couple of guys we walked by, and we talked to the younger kids that were in front of them. But these dudes were just standing in line drinking beer. I didn't even notice this when we talked to these other dudes. But they were just standing in line to get into Trump's speech with no shirt on, drinking beer. I mean, it was a block party, man.
yeah.
The whole atmosphere around there was electric. And people weren't even, at least I'm sure some people might have been disappointed. They weren't even mad that they didn't get in. They waited for hours and hours. But what they did,
there were people getting in line not expecting to get in. Like, we talked to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, how long have you been in line? 45 minutes. Do you think you'll get in? No idea.
Yeah,
We're having a great time.
They're just hoping to get in there because people are getting there at 8 a.m., at 10 a.m. And what they did, and this is another, it's almost like a little jab. Like, Kamala's going to do this venue here in Fulton County where she thinks all the black people don't like Trump, and they're going to act like she has long lines. I'm going to do it. Let's do the same venue that she does, and we'll see who has more black people. And then they set the acoustics for Kamala's. There were some complaints about the acoustics, and if you listen to definitely Stacey Abrams' speech that she gave, it was awful. You had to go find the obscure audio to find good audio. They had audio set up outside the venue. They had a giant, it was like you're going to watch the Super Bowl, or you're doing a watch party. So when the NFL teams, Major League Baseball teams, when they're playing a 7-game series in the playoffs, when it's an away game, say it's game 7, it's a away game, like the Braves would have a watch party at their field, and they put the game on a giant screen, and everybody'd sit out in a field and watch it. It had that kind of feel with this giant screen that they had, and there were some problems intermittently, but the audio and the acoustics that they had set up outside sounded fantastic. I mean, it sounded like you were inside for a good period of time until Antifa started getting so loud that they had to up. Do you remember that? So they got really loud, and then they actually upped the amp or the volume on the stereos speakers outside. But it was just crazy that they
were doing that on purpose. By the way, they were saying like, drown him out, do this so they can't hear. I'm like, you're just being a dick to like the 50 people standing around you. People across the street can hear fine. It's just
right.
They weren't there to make friends at all. It was kind of bizarre.
No. Well, yeah, they were there to. Antifa was definitely. I think Antifa probably got what they wanted, for the most part. But
oh yeah, for sure.
That's what they go and do. But somebody went over and told them, and they turned the speakers up. So it was very audience. The way that the Democrats do things. This is why Trump is good at marketing, and why Trump was always good at whatever he did when it comes to like television and performance, is the audience is in mind first. Because if you don't have in any performance in any show, it's a live show especially, if you are only thinking about the performers or whatever, then what you're going to have is just a gay improv show that nobody comes to, which is kind of what Kamala Harris is. It's like a scripted gay improv show.
Yeah. I noticed that even while Trump was speaking, he said something about the assassination attempt. And he said, like, and I got to thank the Secret Service, say what you want about them. And that really stood out to me because it's like he's acknowledging that there's people out there with conspiracy theories and there's people out there who think that the Secret Service set him up and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Meanwhile, like Joe Biden's like, what? People are saying I'm senile. It's the first I'm ever hearing of it. It's like Trump seems to have a better beat on what the average person is saying.
And he gives, and this can play into the whole everything stage type thing, but he gives the audience an experience. They come for an experience, and he gives them one. You think back to the RNC when he came out, the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen in your life. He walks out. Well, he looks tiny with a camera view, and it just says Trump, like this is Las Vegas, and he's gonna come out and do a number before he gives his speech. That is what. So the Democrats' idea of doing that was, let's get Megan Thee Stallion here. And maybe that, maybe that'll get some of the younger people. They probably got some Georgia State students to come out. I bet they actually had a hard time filling those seats. Somebody that I know, and this is secondhand information, so I can't verify it, but I was told that the numbers that they gave about how many people that were at hers were a lie. And I believe that. I can't prove that. It seems believable to me because it doesn't seem like the enthusiasm is truly there. It seems like it's fabricated because the black people who get mad at Trump for making the comments that he made at that black journalist conference, which are true, are black guys and women who grew up rich, in my opinion. I've not seen anybody who's like real. I know I'm stereotyping and generalizing, but it's media elites. So it's not identity. It's not race like they want it to be. It's media elites, regardless of what their skin color is, but they're being put forward to say these things because of their skin color. But they're no different than the white or Asian or whatever media elites that just side with, the powers that be, or the people pulling the strings. Because just to give you an example, we did speak to, I see your comment, Shovelhead. I'm not going to say it, but I do see your comment. And this kind of speaks to that. We spoke, we didn't seek these guys out. Okay, they came by us and they thought we were with Antifa. A number of people thought we were with Antifa because I guess we both, Zach's got the long hair, I've got the backwards cap, I have the orange shades on. But there, I think we were getting discriminated against, okay? But it was cool. So after these guys kind of yelled at us at first, and we were like, "No, dude, we're not with them." We got some good clips from them. So let me find and take one.
Yeah, notice later too, the shirt I was wearing had the California Republic bear with a star on it, and it was like a band T-shirt. But I didn't even think of that. I'm like, I did wear my most socialist T-shirt, probably. So
yeah, all right. Hold on, my mouse is acting funky here. Give me 1 second. I got this. So while I'm finding these clips, I'll one of the funny trolls that they did. So on that giant screen that they had outside, what they did is periodically they would just scroll headlines on that screen that everybody could see, and the headlines would say stuff like, "Hey, I can share this with you." It would say stuff like this on this screen outside. Not this one exactly, but it was like this. And you see the headline here. It's from 2019. It says, In Kamala Harris's presidential campaign, Indian Americans want more opportunities to connect. While the California Democrat has caught the eyes of South Asian voters, some say her ethnic background isn't enough for them to identify with her. Okay, nothing about black. So they put headlines like this from like NBC, ABC News, Business Insider up there just to troll.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious.
No editorializing, nothing. It was just the headline.
They just put the headline up there.
Might have been a picture of her, but that'd be about it. So.
Right. Here's another one. 2020 presidential hopeful Kamala Harris symbolizes Indian Americans' growing political power. It's just their headlines. And they were just putting them up there. And it's like, but he's a racist when he says it. And, well, not according to these guys. So these guys, which, by the way, there were white people, there were black people, there were Asians, there were Mexicans. And as enthusiastic as the white people were for Trump who were there, their enthusiasm paled in comparison to the enthusiasm of the black guy specifically, but also the Koreans we saw marching through the streets with a sign. They
were doing a little parade.
Yeah, they were going in the middle of the road, like blocking traffic, doing a little parade. The Mexicans and the Asians were more fired up than any of the fired up white people.
Well, what was crazy to me too is when we were walking back to your sister's apartment, we were now several blocks away. You couldn't even tell there was a rally going on in the city. And some young black girl walks by us and just goes, Trump.
Puts her hands up for a high five. Yeah, she was hot. She was really hot. So I gave her a high five for sure. And that's another thing. You know, not everybody was hot that was a Trump supporter, but my gosh, the comparison of attractiveness when it comes to, I'm going to say the women and men, Antifa versus Trump supporters. It's not even close. Although there was not many
that were there too, weirdly.
The cops, there was like 4 or 5 hot cops, which was surprising. It made me want to join the force.
Like both sides too. It's like the dudes aren't my thing, but like I could look at him and be like, yeah, that's a good looking guy.
Yeah, I guess a good looking guy. And not in a gay way, but a good looking guy. Totally. Yeah. All right, here you go. So this is the black guys we talked to right here. This might be loud, and I apologize. I haven't had a chance to level these, so if this is way too loud, I'll have to adjust on the go. All right, here we go. And this guy's shirt, he's got a gold chain and a gold watch. His shirt says blacks for Trump.
What do you think about Kamala's code switching that she does that Trump called out the other day?
I think she's a little conniving little bitch.
We don't even want Kamala Harris in office, you see what I'm saying? Because get what? She not even African American, man. She Indian. She Indian just like Trump said, bro. Kamala Harris Indian, what? Oh, tell us about Kamala.
She not black, she Indian. She Indian. That bitch ass Kamala, that little hoe, her grandfather was the biggest slave master in Jamaica from Browntown, which was named after him, which means East Indian town. She was an East Indian then, the bitch is an East Indian now.
So I didn't even know that. It was hard to hear. I didn't even catch all of that when I was talking to the guy. And I know that you didn't because you were standing
there a word
with the camera. This obviously isn't every black person, but that was the tone. And it was a Trump rally. So, of course, there's going to be more people like that. But I think they're trying to do the identity politics with Kamala and Dougie to try and pry people like this, and especially the younger dudes there, back over to the Democrats and get younger black guys to vote Democrat. I don't think it's going to work. They just need to make it plausible to cheat. I get that, but if it's too obvious, then honestly, the whole system could collapse if it's just too obvious that they're freaking cheating. So what are your thoughts? That's your first time hearing that.
I mean, not surprised because he had a very aggressive demeanor. Totally. So, his words kind of fit what he was saying. He's the guy that came up to us thinking we were with Antifa and just be like, you guys are a disgrace. And I'm like,
to kill them until we kind of saved them a little bit because he charges.
We redirected him into an interview rather than a fight.
And, like I said, he wasn't the only black guy there, or those weren't the only few black guys that were there. We did talk to another one. You probably remember this guy. I can't remember this guy's name, but this guy actually had a bit of a different attitude about everything. he was focused on Joe Biden, this black guy. So let's get an alternative opinion from the black community that was represented there. Let me find this clip. Yeah, okay. So this guy, I have to say, this guy had I was not expecting his POV here, but it's unique to say the least. This is a guy who lives in the community, he said, and here are his thoughts.
I like Joe Biden, but I believe in Donald Trump. He's nice, you know?
Yeah. Let me start, just so everybody heard that. I like Joe Biden, but I believe in Donald Trump. I've never heard that sentence before in my life. Not until this day. And let him continue this time.
I like Joe Biden, but I believe in Donald Trump. He's nice, you know?
Yeah.
I wish he'd get extra 4 years, Donald Trump.
You know, you get 4 and then 4 more?
Yeah.
Donald Trump?
Yeah.
What if Biden was Trump's VP?
Biden?
Yeah. You think?
That'd be a good team, strong team.
What do you like about Joe?
Joe Biden? I'm from New York. He was my former governor. He did a great job. He did a great job as a president also, but...
Governor of New York, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden was governor of New York.
What do you think of his son, Hunter?
Leonard? I really don't know. I'm not that big on politicians too much, but I just know Joe Biden and Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So if you had to choose between one of the two, would you pick Joe or Trump?
Trump. Yeah. Trump is the businessman. Donald Trump is a big businessman, you know?
Yeah.
Trump Towers, casinos, you can't beat him.
So, you know, even though he's a little more fair, he'd like to see a Trump Biden ticket.
Yeah.
He's still going with Trump. I asked him about Kamala. He didn't know anything about her. I will say he has a good idea with Biden as VP, because there's been talk of maybe you get Vance out of there, and they say you need your vice president to make you assassination proof. Well, clearly, Joe Biden's the last person anybody wants on either side. Make him your VP, assassination proof.
Yeah.
And Nate says that guy's vote counts the same as someone who is informed. Nate, I'd be surprised if that guy's registered to vote, then there's 100% chance Stacey Abrams picked him up and drove him to go register to vote, and we'll be picking him up and telling him where and who to vote for on election day as well.
He's either not going to vote or he's going to vote for Kamala in exchange for, you know, a voucher of some sort.
A sandwich and a beer, probably. He said he lived in the community. I think he meant in.
Yeah, I think he's homeless.
The community, yes. That guy we saw at the sandwich shop earlier, who's the one who pointed at us. I saw him and he was like pointing at this guy. I didn't realize until after we talked to him that he thought it would be funny, and it was.
I don't think he was being mean though. He was just like, "This is my friend, whoever. Like, you should interview him. He wants to talk." The
guy was a nice guy.
He was a very sweet guy. Like,
he was nicer than most of the people we talked to. Honestly, he was like the most bipartisan person that was there all day. So, all right. Here's a montage just to give you guys a glimpse into the atmosphere. I've edited these and I haven't watched them all since I edited them, or I haven't showed them to anybody. But I'm interested to see what your reaction to these are, Zach. So this is. I just kind of did a montage of people we talked to throughout the day. This is about a minute and a half. And here we go. We talked to some Antifa people here, some MAGA people, starting with me asking Antifa a question. Cackling Kamala, Bad Christian. I do have a montage of the nicknames people want to give Kamala. We'll get to in a minute. How do you pronounce VP Harris's name? Her first name, how do you say it? So I'm asking Antifa how to pronounce VP Harris's first name because I want to know how to not say it the racist way. And this is what this is right here. VP Harris's name.
Her first name, how do you say it? How do you say it? How do you say her first name?
APD, KKK, IDF, they're all the same.
So they didn't answer. They just pointed the megaphone at me, and the cops are protecting them.
Yeah,
the whole time.
they're the reason they were like in the hospital at that point.
It's a bunch of white, mostly white. Yeah, totally. Right. Those black guys wanted to, at least that one guy wanted to whip their ass, and but they couldn't respond. They only responded in slogan.
Soros. Yeah, about Soros. Is he one of the millionaires who has to go? Soros.
That woman's drunk.
Y'all do know that we gonna die, right? Y'all gotta understand, bro. Hey, Trump was trying to start the sex trafficking, and that's why they don't want him to be president. Because they all got their hands in it. That why. That why. Trump 2024, man. I know what's going on, yo. Get me on video too, man, yo.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
What do you think about everything going on?
Trump 2024, Camilla out the door.
What's your favorite part so far?
My favorite part is that all of us are here, and we're going to make America great again.
All right. What do you think about these protesters over here?
I think they're pieces of shit and losers. They're just some rats. Everybody just have a blessed day.
So what do you think of the protesters?
Well, I think it's their right to protest. I think that's what makes America great is our right to protest. Although I think Antifa, which is anti-fascist, and they're supporting fascism. Unity over division, and I really hope that we can all come together. Love over hate.
He said love over hate. I thought it ended on a higher note there. You can see kind of the chaos ensuing. These two women here were just hammered. Especially the one in the red. She was slurring. I'm zooming back here.
That lady right there in the straw hat. Yeah. She was like trying to put that sign in front of the camera a few times.
She was a bitch.
Yeah, she was. She wouldn't say a word. And then we were interviewing that guy that we ended on, and she put the sign in front of the camera, and I didn't even look back to see who did it. I just like yanked the thing down, and she got the message to stop. But then like I went and talked to this like shaggy haired Mexican guy for a second and was just like friendly with him. I was like, hey, have you heard of Josh Shapiro? Do you know he's in the IDF? And like we were kind of like, yeah, that sucks. That's insane. And she was smacking me with the sign like I'm not allowed to be talking to them.
I don't think they were supposed to talk to us. So you talked to that one guy. I talked to the gay guy who was reasonable, and I looked over and he wasn't doing all the chants. I made a montage of as many of their different chants as I possibly could, which I'll play you in a minute. It's crazy. They just go one after the other. And I think some of these people didn't. I think they all met on social media. I think some of them knew each other before, but others had met for the first time. And I don't think they realized the group that they were getting in with. But that guy with the long hair was the organizer, and he was controlling what people could and couldn't say. And you see that chick there behind him with a hat on, that very, lesbian looking woman. She was their security. She was periodically coming over to check and make sure the white dudes who were in charge were okay. How gay can you be? I mean, that was there. It's like, I told like that, she's not going to beat anybody. Maybe she's armed. I don't know. That would be good for her, because she might be big for a chick. She's not going to win a physical confrontation against dudes who want to fight. She's just not.
Trump 2020.
All right. So that was, that was the group that we were surrounded by much of the day. Let me find another different angle here. All right. We'll do all the protests they did now, since I brought that up. This is, I mean, I don't even think I got all of them. This is about a minute and a half. Make sure I got the right one, because I know I made two of these. Okay, yeah. It's about a minute and a half of every slogan and chant that Antifa did all freaking day long while we were there. Just like robots. this is for the audio. The visuals, I don't even know what the visuals are, to be honest with you. One of them I do, but all right. You can't see that yet. All right, here it is. It's like 20 chants.
From the sea to the river. Palestine will live forever.
From the sea to the river.
From the sea to the river.
Palestine will live forever.
Long live the Antifa. Queen concert. What do we do? When union rights are under attack, what do we do? When trans lives are under attack, what do we do?
She's shouting at us.
Hey, hey! Freddie Mercury won't say ho ho! Hey, hey!
Do what?
Freddie Mercury won't say ho ho!
Everybody agrees with that. Everybody agrees that Freddie Mercury was gay.
Ho ho! The GOP has got to go. Hey, hey! Ho ho! The GOP has got to go. Hey, hey!
Sonia Massey!
Who are you? Go. Hey, hey! Ho ho!
There's some millionaires that's connected.
Donald Trump, turn us round.
They're being freed from slavery. So that's a sample of it. It's a Rolodex, and Bad Christian asking them anything, you get the bullhorn, and they only respond in chants and slogans because they're not there to have conversations. They're not there to grow and find a different truth. They're there to manipulate people into their organization by making it look like they care about all these different causes. I mean, there's some of those in there that I'm like, I don't disagree with that one. I don't like giving all of our money to Israel. Yeah, but they don't, like, there's people getting mad about some of those things, and I'm like, they don't actually care about that. They just build a huge tent to try and get as many young people into it as possible that they can control. And the organizers then go move on to do political. I mean, this is how Stacey Abrams, not necessarily Antifa, but different types of protest groups, Stacey Abrams, AOC, a lot of people we see in government right now got their start. Barack Obama famously was a community organizer. I mean, this is just community organizing. What are your thoughts on, I've probably froze up. Can you still hear me, Zach?
Yeah, I can hear you. Are frozen though.
All right. Well, you start giving your thoughts on that clip, and I'm going to pop out and pop right back in. I'll be back in like 15 seconds. Sorry about that.
No problem. Yeah. So the chants, I don't know. They weren't super creative to begin with. They would just go back and forth from like to the river, to the sea, or to the window, to the wall, or whatever. But the one that surprised me was, I guess somebody really deep got on the mic and they were talking about the Intifada. And I couldn't even remember what that was in the moment, but I guess that was like Palestinian uprisings. Yeah. So they had some deep cuts in there, but that was really the only one. The rest of them were kind of just like, hey, hey, ho, ho, or whatever.
I don't even think I found the one where they were chanting that Trump is weird or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
Which
was just, the talking point of the week. Like, they're supposed to be the Democratic Socialists, too. Like, you think they wouldn't be like, well, we're just going to say what MSNBC
do the
is saying
same
this
thing.
week. Yeah.
That's another thing. Do you think that there are right-wing or MAGA protesters that show up to Biden? Obviously, they don't go to Kamala events because they don't know when they are. But I don't feel like there's a group of conservatives or Trump supporters that are just like chomping at the bit to go protest a Democrat rally. It seems like they don't
Not
care.
Recently. I mean,
right.
It got put down so hard because like remember back in the day, like Based Stickman, and then kind of the Proud Boys grew out of that, and like half of them are in prison now. So
and the other half are feds. So
yeah.
All right. So here is. I already played the. No, I played the montage of the people we talked to. All the protests. Oh, so the one time that the Antifa leader said something to me, this is the only thing he would say to me. This is the stupidest thing.
Oh, yeah.
He thought it was important, but this is the one time he didn't put a bullhorn in my face and chant some retarded slogan. Right here.
Clips do you think are licensed?
How many of what?
How many of these clips do you think are licensed?
What clips? Yeah. I don't know. I don't care. He was talking about the music video clips that they were playing on the big screen.
Yeah. And that's when they were like chanting about Freddie Mercury being gay too, because they played like a clip of a Queen or it was, what's the one that was the big one? I want to say Rite Aid, but that's the name of the store. I don't know. The big one.
They were playing. It was a concert basically.
Yeah.
And that is why they started chanting Freddie Mercury is gay, as though
Live Aid.
Yeah, Trump's not allowed to have gay musicians play.
Yeah,
because obviously he hates all gay people very clearly,
and foreigners too. They could have chanted Freddie Mercury was foreign. I mean,
right? Yeah, Freddie Mercury has a mustache. Also,
it was images of Live Aid. They were just playing, and it really was kind of bizarre. It's like they're just playing
really
clips
bizarre,
of big crowds throughout history.
Yeah.
So.
Now I don't remember. I remember part of this clip, but I talked to some of the younger crowd there. So these guys were in college. They're sophomores in college, and they were also very nice. They're big Trump supporters, and it was interesting conversation with them. They were nearby the Antifa rally.
There's a lot of weird interactions going on. You know, you got a protest going on right here,
like
right outside of it.
Huge, crazy mosh pit of things going on right now.
You talking about the protesters over there? What do you think of them?
I personally have no problem against it, but I think right now they're wasting time. They're in the wrong area for it. It's not going to change anything. Save the strain on your vocal cords, man.
I noticed one of the girls she's cute, but then her legs are hairy.
I can't. You know what?
What the fuck?
There's one of the protesters over there, very, very pretty, fully hairy legs she has. What do you think?
Disgusting. That is no good. That makes me want to puke.
I don't care.
That guy was so even keel, he didn't care. It's funny. So yeah, that is one thing I noticed, and to each their own. There was an attractive young lady over holding an Antifa sign. I was like, oh, she's cute. And I looked down at her legs, and her legs were hairier than Joe Biden's. It's like she had never shaved him in her life. It's not. She just.
I think that's what it's for. Hairy legs for Joe Biden.
Right. That's a great slogan.
She's like, I don't like Kamala. I want Joe Biden back, and I'm growing my leg hair out until he does.
And it's clearly a protest thing. It's clearly a statement.
Yeah, it is.
There was a mustache.
It's either just it's either for climate change or they just reject beauty.
So, she did. Absolutely. Yeah. And yes, she did have the hairy armpits as well. I noticed. I found one of those as well. Bad Christian. Every woman over there had a significant amount of body hair very intentionally, in my opinion. So let me see. Got the Antifa guy. Protest chance. All right. So let's listen to. All right. So this is those guys again. There might be some overlap here. Yeah, I think you'll remember this one, Zach, for sure. We talked to a few more people who were down the middle of the road, like that one guy, and guys that like Trump, but they were nice. They weren't dickheads. They weren't trying to fight anybody. They weren't putting bullhorns in people's faces. And here's what these kids had to say after asking them if they could find anything good about Kamala.
Are you playing it now? Because it's not on screen.
Oh, well, of course. That's why I probably look retarded. So thank you. All right. What do you love about Kamala Harris? If you had to pick something that you liked about her, what would you say?
She got a cool laugh.
She's got a cool maniacal laugh. Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
That's about it.
That's about it?
It's very like she's gonna give you a deal you can't refuse, but then she's not gonna give you the deal.
So she's a good liar. You see the police presence here as, for some reason, the Harris supporters are chanting, hey, hey, ho, ho, all these faggots got to go. I don't know why they're saying that. They don't? Oh, they're saying fascist. I thought they were saying faggots. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, it's my mistake. The police are breaking up the fight before it can start. The Antifa girl with a mustache almost took down the MAGA guy. There's a girl with a mustache. I've seen 3 Antifa women so far. One of them, as I said, looks cute and was cute from the top down, but then when you saw the legs, very, very hairy legs. Another one, relatively cute mustache though. And now I just saw another one raise up her arm, a third Antifa woman, full hairy underarm. And that's true. And you
should have started that though with like, we're recording or we're coming live from Atlanta. It needed to have that like little bit of air of professionalism in it, and that would be perfect.
Like, yeah.
I mean, you're getting to the heart of the issues that the people want to know. Obviously,
I think that you do need to know that. What if you go out on a date with this girl and she's got jeans on and you don't see it? Are they required to show that up front? I would think so. Look at just behind over my right shoulder there. There's a bunch of Asians there. At January 6th, I saw some footage. We interviewed Chrissy Mayer. Well, yeah, we did interview Chrissy Mayer, but it wasn't hers. It was somebody else's that we interviewed that showed us the footage that we did not upload because we didn't want them to get in trouble. And it was nothing but old people and Asians just chilling. Like it was a street festival. Asians like Trump. That looks like Huckabee's daughter before she started taking Ozempic right there over my left shoulder. I talked to that guy too, that giant over there.
Where all those Asian people were standing too, like Antifa kept on trying to expand into that and like take over the entire row of hedges there. And they were pushing people like, I don't know. I guess the cops didn't care or they didn't see it, but like that lady in red who was kind of drunk got pushed at one point.
Yes, dude. So
and
now
absolutely, the organizer had to come over and be like, hey, don't push people who are just trying to walk away. But I guess leaving it open, completely push people if they're trying to encroach on us or something. It's just they were policing themselves in such weird ways. And
so this brings us to the creepy stare guy. This was interesting. I'll play it and then we'll talk about it. I don't know what this guy was doing. Can't see that. All right. Here he is. Something happened that caused a guy in a weird looking funny hat, an old guy, to lock eyes on the back of another guy's head who's a Trump supporter. I don't know why, but they were pointing at you.
I believe that we will win.
That is a creepy stare. Look at this guy creepily staring. It's the way Joe Biden looks at his daughter in the shower. I don't know what happened. So that was 40 seconds, and I trimmed that down significantly. We had at least 2+ minutes of that guy just staring at the back of that one guy's head.
Yeah. I don't know that he quit. We just lost interest.
What made him stop was when that black guy who we talked to earlier, not the one with the guy who was selling the T-shirts, not the one with the Black Guys for Trump, the younger one, he walked up and he held a T-shirt in that guy's face, and that guy, the audio was so hard to hear, I didn't put it in, but that guy calls him brother when he holds a T-shirt in his face, and then the black guy goes, "Man, I know you was racist," and then he walks off, and that's when that guy broke his thing, and then they went on to chanting about KKK, Trump, go away, or whatever. Right, Grumpy, what is this guy going to do At one point, the younger black guy said, "Man, you too old for this." But that is not something you want people to see you do. It's not intimidating. Is he under the impression that this is intimidating somebody? If he's looking at a child, maybe he looks like he is going to do something very illegal to somebody who is feeble, because he's kind of a feeble guy. It was weird. And I couldn't figure out why. You said that guy in the red, he got bumped by that lady. Is that the one?
No, like the lady earlier who, I don't know. She was like,
she was
kind of drunk. And, no, I'm not sure what the lady in the straw hat was pushing people. She like elbowed me and slapped me in the face with a sign, but there was like a MAGA lady there who, one of them just came out of the crowd and pushed her for no good reason other than she was getting a little too close to them.
And you said that guy had to have a sidebar and say, "Look, you don't push everybody."
Yeah,
that lady.
Somebody said that dude looked like Heisenberg too, and he kind of does. He's like a cucky Heisenberg.
Yeah, a little bit. Is this still? Is the stream still going on Rockfin, guys? I just looked at it and I just noticed it might not be. Man, I gotta get this. You know what you need when you do podcasting streams is you need RAM. You need lots and lots of RAM. Hold on one second. I want to see if Rockfin's still. I don't know. Yeah. I think it is.
And they were definitely doing some sort of like almost phalanx type formation there, because I remember when that guy did come over to stare down the guy in the Michael Vick shirt. He had to like trade places with somebody and have that guy go relieve him at another part of their little circle. And like they were practicing out their block tactics, basically.
Yeah, they train. Part of their materials, if you go to their direct action stuff, is they tell you you bring water, you bring this, you leave this at home in case you get arrested. We're going to bill you out here. I mean, they have the whole thing planned out. I don't know if you remember some of the Cop City protest. And look, I'm not taking a position on Cop City. I'm saying that these people don't care about the issues. They use the issues to rope people in. But when some of these guys did get arrested because of the Cop City thing, you can see the formation movements that they're doing in the field. I mean, it's trained tactical stuff. And, fortunately, a lot of them are like that old guy. And
and like you were saying, and nobody wanted to listen to you. And like, it was kind of, I don't know, making people roll their eyes at you from the socialist side, but it was true. It's like the organizers there aren't your friends. Like, even if you're on their side or you believe the same things they believe, they're organizing and letting people go through the meat grinder and the legal system, and they don't give a crap.
They don't care.
And like, have met somebody who at the time was a libertarian, and then she's young and she's radical and she switches sides and is, a communist one week, and she probably would have been over it pretty quickly too. But she gets caught up in the Cop City protest, gets arrested, and she was one of the ones getting RICO charges. They don't care.
They don't.
She was, it's not like, I mean, maybe she got bailed out or something that night, but it's not like they're going to be sticking with her.
They send them back, though. As soon as they bail them out, they send them back. And that's why I don't like protesting. So sometimes people think I'm against an issue or for an issue. It's not oftentimes even that. It's just that the people organizing it, their goal is to show their ability to manipulate a large group of young people into acting against their own best interest. Because if you can do that, then you can get a bunch of people to vote Democrat and you can be a politician. And that is what Stacey Abrams showed specifically. I always use her as an example because she takes credit for being the rabble-rouser of a group of HBCU students at Spelman, where all those schools are nearby each other during the Rodney King riots. And these students went over for some reason and they looted and destroyed and set on fire a Korean grocery store. I mean, no white people. This is a Korean family that lived there, that was sent to the top of that building, and the building was surrounded. They're throwing bricks down at them. They're fearing for their life, and helicopters had to come in and throw gas canisters down, and police had to come in, like 80 of them, shaped in a V form to break up and save these Korean people's lives. They even the father, who was in his 80s as late as 2016, was still doing interviews about how horrified he was, and how traumatic it was. And Stacey Abrams organized that mob, and she then got a job in the office of one of the politicians. I can't remember the name, but it was a politician in Georgia. And she ended up working with the police chief, who she was organizing these people against. And the people she organized, many of them went to prison and probably got kicked out of school and had their lives significantly affected, and just a whole change of direction in their life. Yet she used it as a political rise because they lie. They put these people there to pretend to be like them based on race and identity. They're not like them. Just like Kamala's not like, I mean, any politician's not like the people they're speaking to. But I hate it because I see young people getting manipulated. Now, these people, a lot of them were older. There wasn't too many younger ones there. So I don't know what the deal is with them, but I do know that the guy with the bullhorn is the guy who's hoping to get a job in politics. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Tactical.
And it may work for him.
Tactical, yes. Yeah, it might work for him. He looks like Derek Bros.
He really did.
Right? We both kind of thought it was him. Yeah. All right, so a couple more of these clips here. I think we did hairy leg. Let's get that out of here. Creepy Antifa guy. All right, so here's the nicknames. We asked people nicknames, and I gotta be honest with you, people had enthusiasm, but not a lot of great names came out of it. It's a tough question. You got to be like a marketing person to really be good at that, I think. Here's some nicknames some people came up with there. Do you have any recommendations for Trump on a nickname for Kamala?
Man, I thought he should have used Chuckles.
Chuckles Kamala. I like that. Do you guys have any nickname ideas for Kamala that maybe we can get to Trump?
Camel toe.
Camel toe.
Camel toe.
Camel toe Kamala. 3 votes for Camel toe Kamala. We're trying to come up with a nickname for Kamala for Trump, so we want to get it to him.
Bitch.
Bitch Harris. What about for Kamala? Would you call her like a rat? We're trying to help Trump. Yeah. Camel Kamala. That's a new entry to the list.
Kamala Cackler.
Kamala Cackler.
American sellout.
American sellout Kamala.
Open leg Kamala or something.
Open leg Kamala. Trump, if you're listening, open leg Kamala. Do you have any ideas for nicknames for Kamala?
I'm going to be nice and keep my mouth shut.
So yeah, it's not too many we haven't heard. I think Cackling Kamala is a good one. We heard Cackling Kamala in the chats already today.
Have you seen the one that Trump has been trying out on Truth?
No, what is it?
It's Kama blah or Kamala blah or something. It's really hard to even say, but like when you read it, you know what it means.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen that. I saw him try laughing Kamala, which wasn't Kamala.
I feel like Cackling Kamala is probably the best, but
it's memorable. It's easy to repeat and it's fun to say. Cackling Kamala. Cackling Kamala. All right, Trump. So this is a montage of. We were kind of waiting there to see how everybody reacted when Trump came out. We thought it could be volatile or just crazy. And so this is what happened when, this is a good one, Shamlin?
Kamala Chameleon.
Chameleon. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I love Queen Kamala or Queenla. I love either one of those.
Oh, yeah. And Judge Joe Brown has been back on podcasts. So you need to check that out. Because he said to me,
I messaged him. Yeah, I'm trying to get him on. I'd love to have him on. He hates her, man. Almost as much as that one guy we talked to. All right, so this is kind of a montage of the interactions when Trump came on stage on the big screen. I didn't put it up there yet, did I? No, I didn't. Idiot. All right. Trump's coming out on stage. I have to play that last because this is the last thing anybody. If you're a Trump supporter, don't do this. Don't do what you hear this woman in the background doing. Watch. Listen, if you can, just refrain from screaming, "Take yourself home, you don't belong here, bitch." Go back where you came from when you're screaming at the foreign woman with Antifa. If you're ever in that situation, that would be my advice.
Yeah, because after they hear that too, they're like, "Oh, we won. We got what we were here for, so we can play the victim later, and we can say how hateful everybody was." When really it was like one or two people being too wild.
Who got it? We were talking before the show. It was kind of tame, and the more the crowds got together, the more the energy. It was electric. Energy builds energy, and when they're screaming, they're going to start screaming, especially when people get fired up about Trump or somebody like. It's just.
Well, also, I think that reaction was muted because when he first came on, you couldn't hear him.
Yeah, they were mad about it. Too.
Yeah, so like you could see him on the stage, but like before, the speakers were so loud, you had no trouble hearing them. They drowned out the chants. And then when he came on, it's like they forgot to turn the sound back on. Nobody could hear anything that was happening. So like, I don't know, it was still pretty raucous, but I think it would have been crazier if you could have heard his, coming out, whatever he said to open.
He was probably like, go back where you came from, you piece of shit. You don't belong here. And the person that was screaming that then went over to the police after that. I watched some of the footage back, and I saw when that happened, and I'm pretty sure probably said something that would be considered racist to the police, similar to what we heard her screaming there. It's just, even if you think that, if you want to help somebody that you like Trump or whoever, don't express it outwardly. Don't give them what they want, But yeah, no, there's thousands of people there, and that was the one thing like that we heard. Nothing else. Everybody else was. I mean, even a lot of the Antifa people were calm, and it was just that lady was a bitch. That one creepy guy, and that guy in the front. He was just an organizer who I feel he was. I don't know if he really gave a shit about a lot of it. Honestly, I do have. So I can show you that interview with that gay guy who was with Antifa. Yeah, I'll show you that. And I couldn't hear him very well watching, but I missed an opportunity to. I'll show it to you when we get there. But I couldn't hear him so freaking loud. This guy, so this is the way, even though I completely disagree, and I think he's brainwashed in many ways, I do think that I think that this is somebody that you could have a conversation with and he would listen.
Yeah, he seemed like a nice guy, smart guy too.
He was a pretty nice guy.
Somewhat smart. I mean, you got to be somewhat retarded too to be a socialist, but
Yeah, he said a couple things I didn't hear in the moment that I'm like, man, I wish I could have. I've been wanting to know the answer to this question. I'll show it to you in a second. Is that up there? All right, here he is. So this is the one Antifa member that spoke with us that probably got whipped later for doing it.
What are you guys here for?
We're here to demonstrate against the Trump fancy rally today. I'm here because I feel very strongly, as both a gay man and a supporter of a free Palestine, that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, excuse me, I've been yelling a lot, should not be the next president. I think it's a matter of the utmost urgency that we prevent that in every way we can, and that's why I'm here today.
Are you a Harris supporter?
I'm currently on the fence between Harris. I need to hear more about her policies on Palestine, on Taiwan, on gay rights, on abortion, which I know she stands strongly on, but I need to hear concrete plans from her before I can consider supporting her. As things stand right now, my favorite candidate is Jill Stein.
Really? What's Jill Stein's position?
Well, as the leader of the Green Party, she supports environmental justice, socialism, universal health care, free education, a free Palestine, and more. All things that I currently feel very strongly about and support.
What's your definition of a fascist?
A fascist is someone who supports nationalism and racial supremacy, both of which Trump stands for.
You think he supports racial supremacy?
Absolutely.
What is that based on?
He claims that he has done more for the black community than any president since Lincoln, but that is a total lie. He did nothing to advance their causes or their economic well-being.
What about black people who disagree with that feel that he has helped them?
It's certainly their right to choose their president, but I personally think that Donald Trump is not best for any group in this country.
What would you need to hear from Kamala specifically, or see from her, for her to win your vote?
I would need to hear her promise that she would enshrine a federal right to abortion. I would need to hear her say that she would pledge to stop all arms shipments to Israel and stop voting against Palestine in the international communities, like at the UN. We need to support their full membership if we are to stop the genocide that's currently taking place in Gaza.
What about genocide that goes on in the other parts of the world?
Well, I certainly feel strongly about that too. I feel like there's genocide going on in Myanmar and Western Sahara, all over the world. I feel strongly about all of it, but I feel especially strongly about Israel because more children and more journalists, more healthcare workers, more international aid workers have died in this conflict than in any scene in decades.
I didn't even hear him say that. He doesn't know that. He has no idea that's true.
Realizing I didn't hear a lot of what he said either, but
and I
don't know. Like he was,
go ahead.
He sounded good about some things, and then others, it's just like Trump is a racial supremacist because he's wrong about something that he boasts.
Yeah, so but like, I do feel so that guy, he like afterwards he kind of like he was expecting me to be a jerk to him.
Yeah,
and when we got done talking, he stuck his hand out and wanted to shake my hand. I was like, yeah, because I told him, I was like, I respect that you aren't just blindly supporting Kamala and that you're because it didn't even dawn on me to say, you might want to look into Chase Oliver. I could see that guy voting for Chase Oliver, not just because he's gay, but because, I think Chase probably agrees with some of the stuff that he said there. And I hate that I missed the chance to ask somebody to define what environmental
I don't really care if he votes for Jill Stein or Chase Oliver. Just don't vote for Harris.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to vote for Harris. That was the guy when everybody was getting worked up and chanting. I looked over a couple times. I saw him just standing there with his mouth closed. I don't think he knew what he was getting into. So I feel like he seems like somebody who wants to be, who wants to listen. Now, maybe he doesn't listen if you talk to him, but I don't know. The people who are open to conversation versus people who aren't, like that lady and that guy with the bullhorn, they behave differently. And he was behaving differently. So I don't condemn that guy for he was nervous because he thought I was going to be mean to him.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I've been nervous on camera.
Yeah. So I'll give him credit for talking. He didn't have to talk to us. So
yeah, I'll say he seemed like the difference between coming to these opinions on your own, which I think he did that.
Yeah.
Like he's researched, he's read, and I think he's wrong about almost all of it, but he developed those opinions himself versus some of the people who are there for the social club or because they've been there for so long and that's what leftism became.
Yeah.
That they just adopted other people's stuff to stay in the club. So
and that's how he was brought in. You see Antifa, and they're for all these, like we talked about, these dozens of different protest lines. It's like, oh, I am for that thing. That is my group, and this other group is portrayed as the either or devil, and then of course libertarians. They're not even told about libertarians or Chase Oliver, whatever. I'd say it's we did talk about it. I did get some good night, Grumpy. I did get some amusement watching some of the libertarians fight over the past few weeks again on social media. And I don't know if it's real fighting or what, but it's always amusing to me.
I don't know. I'm so desensitized to it. I don't even know what you're talking about. But.
Yeah, I never know what's real, whether or not, but it's interesting. Okay, so I think we can see if this is the last one I have. I don't know if you can hear all of this. Let me know if you're making it out or not. But I do have that whole clip of that black guy that I played a little bit from earlier, because he started making some biblical references to Kamala, which were interesting if we can make them out. It's very, very loud. We'll give it a shot. Like, this is a guy who has really thought about how much he hates Kamala Harris. He's got Bible stories ready for it. All right, can you see that?
No, there we go.
A hell-bound goblin.
I talked to one of them a second ago, and they said that Trump is a racist, and that's why he's a fascist. And I said, what about black people that disagree with you? And it was a white guy. What would you say to somebody who calls Trump a racist?
I say that Biden said the word nigger. All of his friends were the KKK.
Yeah, he's right.
And that bitch ass Kamala, that little hoe, her grandfather was the biggest slave master in Jamaica from Browntown, which was named after him, which means East Indian town. She was an East Indian then, the bitch is an East Indian now. How do we know? Because when they tried to let black people out of jail, we had nonviolent crimes, this bitch said no. California needs cheap labor.
Yeah.
So she's a slave master like all them other fuck niggas. Like Obama. Obama is an East Indian along with Kamala. He's from Somalia. Those are the Ishmaelites who hate the black man and the white man. They got me and you in slavery while they live for free. And then the Bible said when the children of Israel was attacked from the back and killed one old man and one feeble child, in Exodus chapter 17, Yahweh told the children of Israel to go in and kill every man, woman, and child, sheep, goat, camel, and ass, so that all nations will see and fear and do no such evil to my people again. This is what they don't want you to know, that we're supposed to go in and kill their ass. They want us to just let them cut our babies' heads off and nothing happens to their punk ass. If you don't fuck them up, then you a punk. You understand? I'm not a punk. So I can stand in front of this punk ass white, no good East Indian bastard and tell him that he's a devil.
Yeah, everybody has their free speech rights, so they might be wrong, but they can say it. Let me ask you this. What do you think about Kamala's code switching that she does that Trump called out the other day?
I think she's a little conniving little bitch. All you gotta do is read the story of Semiramis or the story of Isis. Isis was the greatest witch in history because her husband was Set, which is Obama, and then she married Set and she had a baby from him called Nimrod, which is Biden. And then she talked Biden into killing Set, which is Obama.
Yeah.
They don't kill Obama because they stopped his boyfriend from running for office. Michelle Obama or Michael Obama.
My Big Mike and that Big D.
And they big dick. You scared? I'll say it. I'll say it.
You say it.
So I'm free. So you supposed to be free too, but don't worry about it. I'll do it for you. So this bitch ass devil got killed by Kamala and her son, Biden. And then Biden killed, then Kamala killed Biden like ISIS killed Osiris, her own son, and she became called the greatest witch in history. And Kamala is trying to overtake her mother, ISIS, or should I say Semiramis, or should I say Hagar, or should I say Lilith? But don't worry, I'm here because the Bible said I will defend King Cyrus, the man who is supposed to deliver the black man and the white man out of the hands of Kamala Harris, the devil.
I think you just gave a bunch of great nickname ideas for Kamala Harris right there. Thank you, sir. Yeah. What did
I should have included all of those in the nickname clip, that little string of nicknames there. And Pancho Villa, he's a black Hebrew Israelite. I think that is correct.
Maybe.
Yeah,
he's talking about Egyptian stuff there, though. I mean, are they into that? Could he be a Nubian?
Oh my God! What if he's a Nubian?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I went to school like 30 minutes from the Nubians, and I had to drive by their putt course looking. Have you ever seen it?
No.
And I think it's in Madison. It's out there towards Milledgeville where I went to school. I mean, it looks like a putt course. And we had people working in our cafeteria that were Nubians, and they would recruit people out there. And one of my friends went out there and was like harassed or screaming and trying to play pranks on him once. And I can't remember what he did, but he did something that pissed him. He had done it a lot. He did something that pissed off the Nubians, and he drove by their little putt looking thing, and he had to turn around for some reason. And they put spikes out on the road to try and spike his tires. They'd thrown spikes out on the road.
Wow.
Because he just kept going around messing with them.
Well, that matches that guy's energy.
Totally. And then shortly after I graduated, I see the story of the Nubian leader out there getting arrested for sleeping with 13-year-olds and it's just the craziest thing. Yeah, we used to drive by there all the time because it was like a legend down in Milledgeville, Georgia. Yeah, it's crazy.
I never understand when people go off on all the symbolism and like she's ISIS and Joe Biden's Horus, and I'm like, are you saying they are literally these things or that they're recreating it? Like, I don't get it.
I was having a hard time following. I played it because I thought that some of you guys might have more knowledge about some of that stuff than me. Like, I would have never made the Nubians connection, but he's thought about that a lot because he was like, he hates her deeply for it. But he was saying the stuff about like cutting babies' heads off. I heard that a couple times. Is that, I couldn't tell if that was a reference towards what I think is propaganda about babies getting heads cut off. Like babies get their heads cut off, I'm sure. But when you read the propaganda literature dating back over 100 years, Edward Bernays and others literally mock the population for how gullible they are for continuing to believe the babies getting their heads cut off story. I mean, it's in multiple Edward Bernays books. So I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I'm saying my baseline is to believe that it's propaganda designed to get people to not ask questions.
Yeah.
So,
and if he's a black Hebrew Israelite, they're usually no fans of Israel. So seems like he wouldn't buy that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Maybe it's an adrenochrome thing. Like,
maybe. Because that other guy said something too. Those younger kids said something about the babies getting heads cut off. And I don't think they were together. I saw another.
There was the pedo truck. Like,
right.
Yeah, I forgot what they said. It said something like killing pedos on the side of it and had Trump plastered everywhere.
It's like a QAnon thing that had. It was a very QAnon themed truck. I think those younger black guys were part of a group because I saw another video. I think the one that you shared me, I don't know if it said it in that one or another one that was linked to that one. They were talking about how I think that they do work in trying to prevent child sex trafficking. And child sex trafficking in Fulton County, Georgia, it's huge. I mean, it's awful in Atlanta. So that would make sense if they're from Fulton County. There are various groups trying to prevent it there. So I don't know. What were your overall thoughts on the day, the clips, just whatever else is on your mind?
Really not too much else. I mean, It was fun. Started out slow, got crazy. By the end of it, I'm like, this is almost too much. I need to get out of here.
Yeah, it was crazy. We both got sunburnt.
Yeah, sunburn. And then some of this I'm hearing for the first time because it was so loud there. I couldn't hear anybody after a while. So I was just, and it was so bright, I could barely see the phone screen. So I'm just like pointing this thing in the right direction and hoping it comes out well. But
no, you got some great footage, specifically the zoom ins on the creepy old guy and Antifa. That was great.
Yeah.
So thanks for helping, Zach. I mean, I couldn't have done it without you, so I appreciate it. Liberty Libations, most of you guys listening are familiar with that. You guys do your show on Thursday at 8 p.m. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's me and a handful of other people. I'm not always on there, but sometimes I am. It's a good time, so check that out. And then check out my other podcast called Banish Big Brother. That's me and Elizabeth Melton just talking about AI and surveillance and local spying and technology in general and just all of that. So
yeah, I always think about you when every time I see it, basically the daily news story about some cyber hack that, you know, cripples Delta or cripples people's bank accounts, or what was the one that was related to the 2016 CrowdStrike recently?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that story?
I don't know. I need to do a deep dive on it and look into it because I've heard a bunch of crazy stuff. I've heard some like good explanations, like, you know, reasonable explanations, I guess. So I'm not really sure. I want it to be one of the like crazy things like CrowdStrike crashed it on purpose to cover something up.
Yeah.
But also this stuff happens every few years. Somebody makes a massive screw up and takes down like half the internet, or
except the Dominion voting machines, not the Dominion.
Yeah, those are perfect.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we don't want to get defamation here. Yeah, so you're my go-to guy when it comes to questions like that. So I'm sure the show is great. So check it out, and thanks a lot again, Zach. Anything else you want to let people know? You got the Great Create coming up.
Oh yeah, go to thegreatcreate.org and check that out. Binkley will be there. I think you're going to be doing some interviews like these, and I'll be there with Banish Big Brother. We have a couple keynote speakers, including Will Harris, who is on Joe Rogan. He was talking about, you know, our food supply, and he's a rancher, and he's really interesting to talk to. And I buy his meat now. It's delicious, and it's not even very much more expensive than the goo you otherwise buy. Yeah, we got a lot of good stuff. So go check out thegreatcreate.org and keep an eye on it too, because I'm actually like criminally behind in updating the website. So there's probably better information on the Facebook. So
it's at the end of September, right?
Yeah, September 27th and 28th near Columbus. It's at a brewery called Omaha Brewing Company. So, you know, it's going to be great. Like, we got 4 musical acts that are going to be there, including like jazz and then some bluegrass and some guys that look like they're more folk rock. What else? I mean, there's going to be beer on tap, wine on tap all day, people selling stuff, food trucks. It's gonna be fun.
It'll be fun. I'll tell you this. I'm a good time. Zach's a good time. Like, when we hang out, it's fun. So you're gonna want to be there for that.
And it's 2 days, and it's $42. So you can't really beat that. You know, it helps us like pay the bills, and that's about it. We're not making much money off this, so you know. It's supposed to be for the people.
They wouldn't let you near the Bitcoin Conference Center for any less than like $200 almost.
Yeah.
So that's a fantastic deal. All right, Zach, thanks again. Thank you, everybody in the comments and the chats. If Rockfin's still working, I hope it is. Thank you, guys. My web browser, it won't open Rockfin for some reason. I don't know what's going on. But we will do it again soon, and we'll talk to you next time. Have a fantastic rest of